episode of Bullish Chips, where we talk about chips and only chips. More specifically, how you can use a proven and repeatable strategy to make money every day by trading the triple leveraged Bullish Semiconductor ETF, which goes by the ticker symbol SOXL. Make sure you're following us on X to get real-time updates about our entries and exits on not only scalps and day trades, but our mid and long-term trades as well. And make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell on YouTube so that you're notified whenever we release new videos. We do release new videos every day during the week and once on the weekend. Just a reminder, we're not financial advisors. We do not offer financial advice, but what we do offer is our view of the price action for SOXL, not only in the current day and in the past, but where we think price action will take us in the future. So without further delay, let's go ahead and get into the charts. We're going to go ahead and make this a short video today. We'll just look at what price action did today and kind of recap how the week wrapped up as well. It'll give us a kind of a wider view of where things stand, and then this weekend we'll get into a more detailed video setting our triggers and targets for not only the week but the shorter time frames as well, and really set a plan for what we're going to do with price actions next week. So just looking at the day chart, we see that we did close a green. It's kind of a hammer. It's got a little bit more wick than you would want on just a straight up hammer. And we did close slightly below yesterday's price action. So kind of a mixed reading. It's green because we were able to close above the open, but we did close below yesterday's low. So even though there was a little bit of price action seen within yesterday's range, it was rejected and came back down and closed outside of yesterday's range. So not a real huge indicator at this point. Price did what we said that it could do, almost to the cent of one of our price targets, and very close to looking like it, perfectly wicking off of this daily broadening formation. So it looks like we have a full rejection of the year flip for the time being, as well as this weekly broadening formation, and we have fallen once again below the monthly downtrend line. So once again, if you are wondering what these different colors are for the different lines, make sure you check out the description for this video, and you can watch one of our short videos on how we set up our charts and the levels that we use for precision trading. Another big part of our strategy is using what's called the strat. If you're not familiar with it, it was created by Rob Smith, rest in peace. If you want more information about that, I've put a link to Rob Smith's YouTube page in the description of this video as well. And there's plenty of information on the internet about Rob, so make sure you go out and do your own research as well. Just getting back in today's price action. If we zoom in a little bit, excuse me, if we zoom in, and if you are a follower of this channel, you'll remember that we did swing some puts. Didn't exactly expect the gap down that we got this morning, but we did expect more downside action due to the fact that we had hit the top of the range. Let's actually zoom back out for 1 minute. If we look at this from a day perspective, we've had a range for the last 3 or 4 weeks, topping out around 28 and bottoming out around 24. So today was the first day that we really broke below that range, and we actually closed just slightly below it as well. So again, we said that could happen because of the third rejection off of this year flip here. This would have flipped the year back green. Right now the year is red. As well as this weekly broadening formation. We had this gap down here since we already filled the gap yesterday, which was right here with pretty good momentum. Even though we did close with a wick at the bottom of the day, there was good momentum in this day, so we did expect that there should be more downside action. Again, one of our price targets was the top of the gap, because many times, as we've said in our video many times, you will see price action go down and bounce off the top of the gap instead of actually filling the gap. Now, the bounce could be temporary, but it is a point of inflection, and so it is many times a point when price action can bounce. The fact that it lined up with this daily broadening formation that's coming through here gave a little bit more weight to the fact that that would probably be support. If we bring out the Fibonacci's, we will see that this green dashed line is last month's low. Now that's was just put in not too long ago because July just ended. Today is the first first day of August. But this white dashed line is last year's low. So the fact that last year's low kind of lines up with this broadening formation, we knew that this area would probably be a pretty strong point of inflection. We did sell our calls pretty early on into the open. I'm sorry, not our calls, our puts pretty early on into the open. And then we kind of sat on our hands at that point because although the gap was there, we knew there was a high probability of bouncing off the top of the gap in this broadening formation once again. And it did turn out that we did bounce, and we were able to get in some calls right at the breach of this second 15-minute candle, and we were able to ride it up to back to the quarter flip. This is where the quarter today flipped back to red. Luckily, we were able to get above it at least for a little while to flip it back green, which gives us a little bit more bullish momentum. But that did eventually fail, and we came back down. And once again, last year's low, last month's low, and this month's flip, because again, the opening print of the month, which is the opening print of the first day of the year, that's what determines what flips the month red or green. So luckily we were able to stay above all of those points of inflection, again, even if it's just for the time being, and close the day green. So if we look up to the left-hand side of the chart, we see that the day was green. The week, however, still finished red. The month was green, but the quarter and the year stayed red as well. So if we look here, we're still quite a ways above the last quarter's 50%. Still quite a ways above the 78.6 fib of the 2020 low to 2021 high. So these are other points of support that we can look at. It's not a surprise that they line up with this weekly uptrend line. Now, again, we don't look at uptrend lines as strongly, but unless they're lining up with other points of inflection, just like how this weekly uptrend line, it held for a little bit for a couple of days, but eventually it did break through because at that point it wasn't really lining up with any points of support. Right up here, this quarter flip was support, along with this daily broadening was still pretty close. So we did get the bounce. This time it did go through, and we met this daily broadening down at this lower zone. I do feel that this gap probably is still going to get filled, if not Monday, sometime soon. This is really kind of a toppy formation here. We had 7 straight weeks. Oops, that's the day chart. Let's get the week up here. We had 7 straight weeks that were green, leading up to this kind of reversal that we've had. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You go back in history of SOXL specifically, it's only happened one other time, and that was then followed by a pretty a decent pullback. So we're still within this daily broadening formation, so we can still find support. Again, tops of gaps can be support. So we could go back up and retest, if not the top of this range that we were in for about 4 weeks. We could, pop above it and test this weekly broadening formation again, for maybe a look above and fail to bring us back into the range again. So good chance that we could continue to just move sideways on a higher time frame perspective. I guess higher is relative. So on like a daily, weekly perspective, we could continue to move sideways for a while. However, things do look as though they could, if not move sideways, move down more than the chance that we are going to move up, right? So we would have to fight all the way back through this stuff here, get through here, and again, break through this top of the zone that's rejected us 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks in a row now. So they do say the more times you test a level, the weaker it becomes. So we could just be setting up to break through it by continuing to test it. However, the tests usually need to be followed by higher lows. And you can see at this point now we're putting in lower lows. In fact, we even put in a lower high. You can see this orange dashed line. That's a daily downtrend line. So, you know, it was a good trading day for us. You know, we got big profit on the puts that we swung. We were able to get in pretty close to the bottom of the day to get the calls, and got the initial move. We got out, and then during the second half of the day, we just kind of sat and watched. Again, I like to take it kind of easy on Fridays. You know, trade the first half of the day and just kind of relax, start to get into the weekend. I'll still keep my eye on the charts, so if something does come up that is, you know, kind of like what they call an A+ setup, I'll you know, take my chances to enter. If it's something that's going to set up a move, you know, at the start of the next week, I'll go ahead and enter it as well. But for today's trading, it was pretty much par for the course. Traded the morning and then just kind of watched the afternoon. So again, we'll just kind of look at the week perspective. Again, I am a strat trader, so I was looking for a 2 down this week after the 3 last week. I was hoping for a failed 2 down though, one that, you know, finished green or with not such a big red body. Didn't quite get that, and also didn't want such a high on the 2, right? Because a 3-2 down, 2 up is what I was going to be looking for next week. It usually gives you great entries and exits, very defined entries and exits, because you enter at the top of the 2 and you close out at the top of the 3. However, there's not really much magnitude here, right? So it doesn't make it quite as worth it to get into that just looking from a strat perspective of entries and exits. However, if we do manage to fight back up through this week and go 2 up, which would basically, you know, at the same time breach the top of this 3, I would say that's pretty bullish, because that would set a higher low here on the week chart, and we could possibly get back in to longs on a longer perspective, because we would have the year green as well. That would flip the whole, what we call full time frame continuity, to the upside, where the week, the month, the quarter, and the year are green. One thing that we do need to keep in mind, though, you know, in the back of our mind at all times, is seasonality, because you know, August, September, October is usually one of the worst performing months for tech. Over the last, I guess, 5 years since, you know, the big event in 2020, it's become, August has not become as bad of a performer as it was in the past, but it's still not as high a performer as, you know, the summer months and late spring. So we do want to keep that in mind. So August could be kind of tempered, again, moving sideways possibly, and then September, October, we do want to possibly look for more downside. Maybe that's when we go fill this gap down here if we don't fill it next week, right? If we open up inside of last week's action next week and we just push up, we never reach to the bottom side, that leaves that gap out there, and, you know, September, October, it could be calling our name, right? So we'll just keep that in mind. But again, good day today trading, good week trading. Really, we capitalized on puts that we swung Wednesday night into Thursday as well, and so you know, the levels that we have drawn out, and they've, you know, come to hold their weight, and you know, really help to guide us to make actually pretty big profits this week. So you know, today was a pretty good day, but yesterday was a great day as far as profits were concerned. So overall, the week was a good trading week. We did get what we want as far as the 2 down, but not quite the way that we wanted it to form. So we'll see how next week plays out, and just keep in mind the levels that we've had that have been respected. So I hope everybody had a good trading day today. I hope everybody had a good trading week this week. That will kind of wrap it up for this video. Like I said, we won't mark our triggers and targets until the weekend video. Just kind of take it easy going into Friday night, and just hope everybody has a good weekend. Make sure you spend some time on yourself, get some rest, and you know, get ready for a new week of trading. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. That way you're notified when our weekend video drops. And you know, leave a comment in the comment section if you had a good trading week this week, if any of our advice had helped you out, or if you see the market in a different view than us. If you see, nothing but bloody weeks ahead, then tell us what you see out there that's different from us, and being a little bit more tempered in how we think price action may go. So again, hope everybody has a great weekend. Look forward to making the video this weekend as well and sharing it with you all.